As Orihime and Uryu were confronted by Captain Mayuri, along with his lieutenant Nimue, suddenly, the staggering of another Soul Reaper could be seen out on the open road. He seemed to be inebriated, perhaps having too much to drink. It had become nightfall in the Serite, and it was apparent that even for Soul Reapers, they needed vices to let loose. Of course, the would-be Soul Reaper from Squad 11 had no idea what was going on, only that Captain Mayuri had shown up, and what appeared to be the strange Ryoka that they had heard so much about were in his presence. Of course, he felt like he was duty-bound to fight, although fighting for Captain Mayuri, that was a different story. Again, squads working together was a rare occurrence. Even under these stimulating circumstances, there was always the strong sense of individuality. However, it was in that moment that 4 more members of Squad 12 would arrive. But for some reason, they weren't necessarily hostile. No, much to Captain Mayuri's dismay, they were actually playing the peacemakers, acting as though they could find a way to resolve their conflict without fighting. As one would offer a smile to Orihime, he extended out his hand. "I understand that they're the enemy, Captain, but still, they haven't harmed or killed anyone. I think this is all a misunderstanding. Perhaps if we can just talk to them, then maybe we can..." Uryu would tell Orihime to move as suddenly he would explode. The others now became fearful. It soon became clear to Orihime and to Uryu what was going on. The captain was using his own people as bombs. Even when they tried to turn to beg for their lives, Mayuri looked at them strangely. No, that won't do at all. Once the bombs are already in place, they cannot come back. They're not supposed to. Wait, no, Captain Mayuri, please don't! Orihime would have to block both herself and Uryu, along with the Soul Reaper of Squad 11, although the explosion had knocked him flat on his head. By the time he was conscious, he saw Orihime, who was supposed to be his enemy, but she was crying. They weren't the tears of an enemy, of someone who was trying to beg and plead for their life. No, they were genuine tears of sorrow. As he looked to see what had happened, he now remembered. Captain Mayuri Kurasuchi, the head of the Research and Development Department, the chief scientist of the Soul Society. Captain Mayuri was not particularly light. No, he was, well, the Frankenstein of the Soul Society. The bastard who always had to take things too far. But using his own squad members, the people that he trusted, as sacrificial bombs. Make no mistake about it. Soul Reapers believed in the cause. That never changed. But there were sometimes when even the most jaded of Soul Reapers had to question, who the hell were they following in the battle? Sure, when you're in the front lines with your brothers and sisters in arms, all seems to be well. Everyone's fighting for the same cause, everyone's working together, but lieutenants, and especially captains, sometimes they could just become the absolute worst. All of a sudden, they seem to forget where they came from. They seem to forget their fellow Soul Reaper, the person that they used to stand beside. For Captain Mayuri, everything was always a means to an end. He couldn't imagine what it was like being a member of Squad 12. For Uryu, he saw that Orihime truly shed tears of remorse. Why, they were your squad. You're their captain. Why would you do this? Why? Why would you ask me such a silly question? Preposterous, girl. They serve under me. They work for me. They live for me. If I decide that I want them to jump off a cliff, I need only ask. Whatever is my quandary, whatever I wish to explore with those who serve in my squad is damn well my business. But I must say, that shield you were able to create, is it due to cursed energy? How does he know about cursed energy? Uryu thought. Yes, Uryu Shida was aware of jujutsu sorcerers. It was just as plain as day. It wasn't uncommon for him to see a cursed spirit from time to time, and to even use his power to kill it. At least for the Quincy's, they believed in destroying evil wherever it came from. It was a long time ago that the Quincy's actually helped in keeping the cursed spirits under control, and you could say that there was a time when jujutsu sorcerers and Quincy's had a amicable relationship. But after the Quincy purge, that's when things became a lot more difficult. You see, Soul Reapers don't get involved with cursed spirits. You might be wondering why, but the answer is quite simple. Soul Reapers believe in their only mission, their only cause. Think about it. For all the wars, for all of the terrible disasters that happen, you don't think that a Soul Reaper could help in that instance? Does a Soul Reaper come along when there's a terrorist attack? Does a Soul Reaper make themselves known when there's a natural disaster that could potentially wipe out thousands, if not millions of lives? Does a Soul Reaper make themselves present during a time of crisis in the human world? No. Because Soul Reapers only deal with maintaining the balance and keeping the hollows in check. They might not stop the event that causes hollows, but if any of them show up afterwards, they'll be there. And even then, Soul Reapers don't want to be there. One thing that you will have to learn: more often than not, a Soul Reaper does not care about you. They're merely doing their job. So, if you ask a Soul Reaper, are they going to get involved dealing with cursed spirits, the creation of negative human emotions, basically a human problem and it's the human's fault? Well, they would just look at you and laugh. Because why on earth would they get involved doing more than they have to? So, hypothetically speaking, if, say, a certain cursed spirit ever decided that he wanted to take over the inhabited earth using the body of the boy that he was sealed in, well, unless this hostile takeover results in the wiping out of humanity, if they only lose a country, they're not getting involved. But that didn't stop Captain Mayuri from investigating cursed energy. After all, it was a fascinating phenomena. Being able to draw on negative emotion, to use that power to create cursed technique. It was still something he was scratching the surface on. A lot of jujutsu sorcerers often died young, and more so, the problem was that whenever you wanted to try to get a good specimen, cursed spirits had a knack for never leaving a body that was worth dissecting. But now he had something prime. A cursed spirit user, potentially, although he couldn't feel any cursed energy from the girl. No. According to his readings, she had none, but yet she wore the same garb. Your technique, it is quite interesting, even though you don't have cursed energy. What? Are you some sort of dud? Perhaps you're the black sheep of a family because you weren't able to use your power. That is quite common. But I think I could get something out of you. The Quincy boy, not so much. I've already had my fill of the Quincy. They do nothing for me. But tell you what, girl. If you come under my care, I promise I'll give you the best treatment you could possibly ask for. I'll make sure that I limit mechanical experiments to only 5 hours a day. And I'll try to make sure that I keep your frame intact. You'll be properly fed and clothed. And I'll make sure that after every day, you're given the most adequate of hospital living conditions. I think that's a fair deal. I'm not treating you like common cattle or herd. Instead, I'm going to shut up! Orihime yelled. Shut up! Huh? Hostile, aren't you? Orihime, Uryu said. You hurt them. They were your comrades, and you hurt them. You didn't see the look in their eyes. Huh? What are you drowning on about? I told you, they live for me. They serve me. They have served their purpose. They no longer matter. In the end, they were useful creatures. And now that they have served their usefulness, I pull them from my memory. Because now I have no need. But I won't go on and on with you, child. Nemu, make the preparations. Yes, Captain Mayuri. Now, claw out. Ashi Soge Jizo. Captain Mayuri would unleash his Shikai of his Zanpakuto, as his blade would transform into a 3-bladed golden weapon with the face of what appeared to be a baby, or at least a round face at the hilt. It gave off a dangerous odor, as Uryu would stand on guard along with Orihime. Nemu would suddenly charge. Uryu was in front. He had been grabbed by Nemu, who was holding on to him for dear life, as Mayuri would come in with a slash. However, for the captain, what he didn't expect was that Orihime would have fight. Immediately, she came charging in. She pulled out the 3-jointed staff, the cursed tool Playful Cloud. With a swift swing, Playful Cloud would collide with Mayuri's Zanpakuto, the two forces creating a powerful burst of energy, as the captain was sent back a good few feet. As Nemu would rise, both she and Uryu had been cut, though thankfully, Orihime had stopped from there being a second strike. Well, what's this? You have a playful weapon of your own. I can tell. That is a cursed tool. It oozes with cursed energy. A power that can amplify your body, it seems. How is he able to tell? Oh, I've become quite aware. Filling tools with cursed energy. It merely becomes a matter of trying to figure out what the tool can do. From what I was able to see, I gauged your initial reactions when I attacked with my exploding soldiers. Your speed back then, compared to what it was when you pulled out that whimsical staff, it's night and day. It's easy to see that it has some effects on your physical stats. Yes, I'm able to piece this together rather well. You must have some association with jujutsu sorcerers, but it's obvious that you lack the necessary skill and or affinity to use cursed energy. As a result, you rely mainly on using cursed objects. And not only that, but you also have another technique, different from a cursed technique. The one thing that Uryu had to give him. The Mad Doctor was definitely good at his use of deduction. The fact that he could pull all of that just from a few encounters with Orihime, and he already claimed to have studied on the Quincy, there was no telling how much he actually knew. They were already fighting at a disadvantage, but now they were facing off against a captain who seemingly knew all of their tricks. As Orihime readied herself, Uryu would try to stand as well, though Nemu lied on the ground. "Nemu!" Mayuri said as he made his way towards his lieutenant. Yes, Captain Mayuri. You stupid girl! I thought I told you. Hold on to the Quincy boy, even if it cost you your arms. I could have taken him out in one fell swoop, and that would have just left the girl to deal with. Incompetent! I'm so sorry, Captain! Stop it! Uryu would yell. She did her best. She's supposed to be your lieutenant. Why are you treating her this way? Mayuri would grab Nemu by the hair, holding her up. Oh, I'm sorry. How rude of me. You know what? The next time I get the chance, I should go to your house, not take off my shoes. I should waltz on in, sit on your couch maybe, kick my feet up, and tell you, go whip me up something in the kitchen. Would that be fair? Would that be justified? Let me ask, does a stranger walk into your home and tell you where to put your things? Do they tell you how to put your clothes on? Do they tell you where to put this there and that there? No. Then kindly refrain from sitting on your moral high horse and telling me what I can do with my property. Your property? That's right. I built Nemu. You think that I would build something inferior that it couldn't take a couple of lashes? Ow! He would backhand her as he let her go, before punching and kicking at her some more. I built her. She's my property. I can damn well do what I please with my property. And I would kindly ask that you don't insult me in thinking that I would make something so cheap and worthless that it wouldn't be able to survive a few hits. No. Stop it, Orihime said. Orihime, you need to get under. No. I don't like you. You don't like me? Do you think that I care? Am I supposed to care that you don't like me? You're a monster. An absolute monster. And I hate you. You hate me. That's not the first time I've heard those words. But hate is a strong feeling, girl. Do you know what hate truly is? I can tell you what I hate. I hate when I get a perfect score. I hate when all of my preparation goes to waste. I hate when I put in an order for new supplies and it's late by 3 days. I have to call off all my experiments, everything. It's awful, quite awful. Do you know what it's like to prep for surgery? To have everything in place, and I don't have clean medical gloves? Seriously, what kind of racket are we running here? You think this is a game? You're supposed to be a Soul Reaper, Orihime said. Soul Reapers are supposed to help people. Nemu! Nemu, did you hear what she said? Oh, it hurts! It hurts! Oh, 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 it hurts! It hurts! Help! Help! No, 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 no. I don't do this to help. Help what? Help you? Help humans. That's what she thinks. You think we do this because we want to help. Oh, you sick, poor, naive girl. If you think that we Soul Reapers do this, no. If you think that I do this to help, then I don't think you... Oh! Before he had a chance to continue on in his laughing tirade, Playful Cloud was slapped right in his face. Now he was sent back even farther. Uryu looking on as he tried to get to his feet. He felt like his body was immobilized. He had only been cut in the arm. Damn! Why can't I? It's the effects of his Zanpakuto, Nemu said. It robs the mobility of the user. It paralyzes the body. But it keeps the pain. A sadist like him would use a Zanpakuto like that. Ow! That shit hurt! Okay. That's how you want to play it, Mayuri said. I don't know how it works in the world of the living, your newfangled ideas in the 21st century. But around here, we subscribe to a different kind of justice. It's called gender equality. You see, I don't want to hurt you. You're a delicate specimen. But let me make it perfectly clear. I have no problem taking my Zanpakuto and breaking it off in your... No. No. Calm, Mayuri. Calm. I shouldn't allow myself to lose my cool. After all, I got over that Quincy nonsense. What Quincy nonsense? Uryu yelled out. Oh, now you're bringing up some real trauma. While I'll admit, working on Quincy's were fun, do you know what was the most annoying thing ever? Constantly hearing that mantra, by the honor of the Quincy, I can't do this. By the honor of the Quincy, I won't let you do that. By the honor of the Quincy, the honor of the Quincy. Seriously, they go on and on about honor. It was quite annoying. Especially my last subject. He was some scraggly old man, fell into a terrible hollow trap. But it serves him right for walking in it. I have some photos if you'd like to see. Even while he was on the operating table, even as he was being poked and prodded and shocked, he kept going on and on about the honor of the Quincy, about his trusted student. It took me forever just to get his name out of my head. Here's a photo of him if you want to see for yourself, Mayuri said, flicking a photo towards them. Orihime looked like she wanted to vomit, and Uryu recognized the man in the photo. It was you. What? It was you. Uryu, Orihime said. You know him? He was my master. He taught me everything about being a Quincy. My grandfather. Oh God. How could he? Orihime, Uryu said. I hate to ask this of you. Really, if I didn't have a choice, if it were up to me, I'd do this on my own. Uryu would raise his arm as strands of reishi would begin to run themselves along his body. To fight against the effects of his zanpakuto, Uryu would use the technique Ran So Tengai, a power that allowed for the Quincies to move their limbs to continue to fight, even if they had no capability of doing so. His right hand that was wrapped in the Senrei glove, a special tool used by the Quincies to amplify their power, and once removed, would allow them the maximum efficiency of reishi gathering, but at the cost of their power permanently. You're strong, Orihime. Stronger than I gave you credit for. Honestly, I never really knew what I was going to do with my life. My master used to always ask me what was worth fighting for, what was important. I could never give him an answer. But there is one thing I can't forgive. Orihime, I'm going to kill him. I understand, Orihime said, as she readied herself. Ah, so you're coming at me for a second time. Mayuri would grin as he readied his blade. Orihime would try to go in for a dashing strike, but sadly Mayuri was prepared this time as he cut away at her ankle, causing her to roll over onto the ground. Immediately, he stood over her, ready to run his blade through her chest and into the ground itself, only for her to dodge at the last moment. Fighting through the searing pain that was in her left ankle, she rises up, using her one good foot, and bounced out of the way before the zanpakuto could strike at her. That little trick of yours isn't going to work for a second time. You're wounded, and I can see you coming. You don't stand a chance. Orihime knew that she had the power to heal herself, but she couldn't do it and fight, and she knew that she would have to make an opening for Uryu, who had now broken off the Senrei glove and was starting to gather reishi all around him. On one foot, Orihime's hairpins would turn into the fairies that floated around her. You're losing blood fast, Orihime. We need to get to work on that ankle of yours and... We need to buy Uryu some time. What? No! If you go out there like this, you're not gonna be able to... He's counting on me. Please, guys. Fine. But you better make it quick. Right. Shun Rika. Immediately, Orihime would create a tiny platform, a tiny shield. Bouncing on it with her one good leg, she used it as a spring to bounce forward. She would bounce off of the walls using her one good leg, constantly moving around Mayuri, trying to find the blind spot. Mayuri would use his Zanpakuto, channeling it to strike from the back. Orihime would wrap Playful Cloud around the Zanpakuto, spinning it forward as she would throw him onto the ground, immediately moving as he tried to kick her legs from under her, before responding by slamming Playful Cloud right into the Zanpakuto. In the meantime, Uryu would continue to gather his reishi. With the increased speed and strength that had now been amped to his body, when he saw his opening, he took it. Mayuri was now fighting a battle on two fronts. What the? So they're trying to come at me from both ends. Nemu! Nemu! Oh, right. She was subdued by the poison. Damn that girl. I'll have to punish her thoroughly for letting me down like this. Yeah. Mayuri would then be struck. His leg would be shot out from under him by Uryu's arrow, as Orihime would crack him in the back of the head with Playful Cloud. However, as a result, she would suffer another slash in the shoulder, causing her to roll over and fall to the ground, completely out of it. Orihime! Uryu said. Now that I've taken that pesky bug out of the way, let's say we settle this one-on-one. Playtime is over, Quincy. Now, Bun Kai Kanjiki Ashisogi Jizo. What? How is it able to transform again? A second time? The Zanpakuto can only transform once, Uryu said. You truly are misinformed, my friend. And this only adds to your foolishness. You walk into the den of the lions without knowing what your predators are truly capable of. The Zanpakuto has two transformations. What you are referring to first is only the first transformation, the Shikai. This is its second evolutionary state, the Bankai. Now, you will witness the true power, not just of Ashisogi Jizo, but now, Kanjiki Ashisogi Jizo. The Zanpakuto would transform into a large, golden caterpillar, whose body gave off a strong pheromone of poison created from boiling Mayuri's own blood. With this, he would use it to completely immobilize and destroy Uryu once and for all. As Orihime slowly tried to raise herself up, the poison, it was slowly eating away at her. If she didn't work on healing herself now, who knows how bad of a state she'd be in. Orihime! One of her fairy pins would stop her. We're taking over now. You need to focus on resting. But, Uryu, no! If you keep this up, you'll die! Orihime would recall her training with Maki again. Remembering all the times that she had been knocked down, all the times that Maki, every time they sparred, she constantly kicked her ass. Wow, you are terrible, Maki said. Yeah, that's about it. But you keep getting back up, though, Panda said. You really got spirit. Hot dog, mustard, mayonnaise, ketchup, French fries. What Toge's trying to say is, you definitely got the spirit, and that counts for a lot. A lot of people in your situation would have quit a long time ago. But, I do gotta ask, Why are you doing all this, Orihime? I mean, no offense, but you don't really seem like the fighting type. And I mean, you've already had help with your brother being exercised and everything. You really don't have a reason to keep doing any of this. Yeah, Maki would say. I mean, I'm happy to train you when I have the time, but I really don't think that you need to learn how to do any of this. I mean, you're not really adept at using curse energy. You're not gonna gain a curse technique, I'm sorry to say. I mean, you have tenacity and heart, and that counts for something, but it won't get you very far. Yeah, I know. But I just don't want to be the same anymore. Everyone's always worried about me. Everyone's always saying, you have to worry about Orihime. Don't do this, you might hurt Orihime. Everyone's always looking at me like I'm delicate. Like I'm someone that can't take care of themselves. So what? You think that learning how to fight's gonna prove a point? No. I know that there are people out there way stronger than me. No amount of training's ever gonna change that. But I have to try, right? If I don't do anything, how can people ever depend on me? You're a good friend, Orihime, Panda said. You're dependable in so many ways. Honestly, I can never understand you humans sometimes. You put so much emphasis on fighting and prowess, acting like it's somehow the only thing that matters. Being a true friend, knowing when you're needed most, and being there for those that need you counts for a whole lot more. You won't always be the strongest. You won't always be able to land the crucial hit that wins the fight. But knowing that people can count on your support, that you'll always be there through the hardest of times, and that you'll see them through no matter what it takes. If you ask me, I think that's what makes you a strong fighter. You fight with spirit, and spirit counts for a lot. As Orihime would recall those words, watching as the giant caterpillar made its way towards Uryu, who was gathering as much reishi as he could for his final attack, Orihime knew what she had to do. I'm really sorry, guys. Huh? Orihime, what are you? Shun Rika! Hexagon Prison! What? Her hairpins would immediately be dispatched. Moved in a particular set of coordinates, they formed a hexagon formation, as they would all surround the giant caterpillar, trapping it inside of a hexagon-like barrier, keeping it in place. What the? Who? You! Mayuri would turn to see that it was Orihime that was doing it. Her body, she could hardly move it at all as she barely held up her hands, keeping the barrier around his giant Zanpakuto. In the end, it was futile. The prison didn't even last more than 10 seconds. Pathetic! Down to the very end! What? You bought your comrade a few more precious seconds of life. In the end, it was worthless. Worthless, I tell you! No, it wasn't worthless, Uryu said, as he fired off the most powerful of reishi arrows possible. Mayuri's Zanpakuto would be consumed, and for Mayuri himself, he would be severely damaged in the process, as half of his body was blown off. Those few precious seconds, they were everything. I was able to strike you. If it hadn't been for Orihime, I might not have had a chance to gather enough reishi to counteract his Zanpakuto. He did it. What a relief. The fairies would begin healing on Orihime immediately, as Uryu would carry her alongside where Nemu was. He turned back ready to finish off Mayuri, who had now turned himself into a pudge of slime and was beginning to break away into the crevice. I'm not done with you. Oh, but I'm done with you. In this state, I can't attack you, but your attacks can't harm me either. It's always good to have an ace in the hole. It'll take a few days for my body to recover, but by then, you will have already met your fate. Farewell, Quincy. It looks like in the end, I'll have the last laugh. Coward. As both Nemu and Orihime sat together side by side, Nemu would feel relief. Her captain was alive. She would offer them antidotes to the poison of his Zanpakuto. Orihime, trusting her, would take it gratefully, as the fairies would work overtime to heal Orihime's wounds. Just then, the member of Squad 11 would make himself known. Uryu stood on guard, although at this point he could hardly do anything. His Quincy power was gone, and all he'd have left to fight with was a bow. But the Soul Reaper wasn't looking to fight. You're my enemies. I'm supposed to take you down. But still. I can take them to the medical facility. What? They'll be safe. They're girls after all. Cute ones. No one's gonna mess with them. As for you, if I bring you there, well, you're a goner. You might have to get out of here. Their wounds are a lot more severe than yours. It's okay, Orihime said. I'll catch up with you later. I just need some time to rest. Go. Rukia needs you. Ichigo needs you. Orihime would pass out, as the Soul Reaper would carry them away. Thank you, Orihime. By the time the sun began to rise, Uryu would be climbing a vast number of stairs. He had gotten much closer to the Tower of Repentance, but now he could feel the effects beginning to weigh on him. His Ran-So Tengai was beginning to wear off. Damn, I thought I'd have more time. Maybe if I can make it up the stairs, I can find a place to rest, just for a little bit. Don't worry, Rukia. I'm sure I'm not the only one on the way. We'll get to you. As he made his way up the steps, someone would be waiting for him. Another captain. Kaname Tosin. I'm sorry, but I must bring this conflict to an end. I must take you down. Now, Bankai. For Uryu, everything would go dark. This concludes Bleach Midnight. What if Ichigo was MoonKnight? Season 1, Part 8. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, And hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned tomorrow as we continue with Bleach Midnight, What If Ichigo Was MoonKnight, Season 1, Part 9. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.